I had hoped for some quiet after Ravan and Mandodari left, but that didn't happen. A new formation of Rakshasi guards marched up. They must have received instructions to make my life additionally miserable because right away they began to shout abuses, slapping and poking me until I was bruised all over. They were particularly angry because I had humiliated their king. But finally, they tired of my silent endurance. It was like punching a tree or kicking the ground, one said in disgust. They arranged their pallets around my Ashoka tree and went to sleep, snoring vigorously because we all knew there was no place I could escape to. When they had fallen asleep, I gave way to tears. I wept as silently as I could, but once in a while a sob broke out of me. Oh Ram, I whispered, I am so tired. I don't have the strength to continue like this. There was a slight movement in the tree branches above my head, and when I looked up, two small, bright eyes gleamed down at me. I jumped up, startled, every muscle tight. What devilish new magic was this? The creature above parted the branches a little. It seemed unafraid of me. In fact, it seemed more concerned with not frightening me away. Cautiously, I peered closer. It was the tiniest monkey I had come across with soft greyish fur, quite harmless looking. If I would put out my hand, it would have fitted onto my palm. I hadn't seen any monkeys in the Ashoka garden until now. Was this some new trick meant to lower my defenses? The monkey laid a cautionary finger on its lips, a surprisingly human gesture. I didn't trust it one bit. I drew in my breath to let out a loud scream. Unless it was a messenger from Ravan or a god who could disappear at will, or Ravan himself in disguise, which I well knew he was capable of, it was about to get into deep trouble. The monkey spoke, startling me. Ram, Ram, it said, patting its chest gently as though my beloved resided there. Blessed be his name, the rightful king of Ayodhya and my beloved lord. The blood thudded so loudly in my head, I had to hold on to the trunk of the Ashoka tree to keep from falling. Was this the sign I had begged for? But how was it that a monkey could speak like a human? In all my years in the forest, I hadn't come across any speaking monkeys. In any case, a tiny monkey couldn't possibly cross the raging ocean that surrounded Lanka. This had to be another of Ravan's tricks. My face must have indicated my doubts because the monkey said a bit huffily, "There is all kinds of magic in the world, Mother Sita, not just the clumsy Asura kind. My people can speak and not just human talk. We know how to communicate with the wind and rain and sun, and that is just for starters. You want to see what else I can do?" He changed into an orange robed sannyasi so suddenly that I flinched away. "Sorry," the monkey said, contrite. "Didn't mean to scare you, mother." I liked how the monkey called me mother. I knew it was only a courtesy, but I felt an absurd desire to hold it close as one would a baby. "It is not your fault," I said. "I have been this way ever since Ravan disguised himself as a holy man to abduct me." Anger flitted over the monkey's face, and I was startled to see how fierce it could look for something so small. "He will get what is coming to him soon, don't worry. Anyway, back to what I was saying. In our tribe, everyone has special powers. I, for instance, can grow as large as a mountain or become as small as a pea. Here, he shrank until he was almost invisible in the gloom, then began to expand so that the branch creaked painfully under his weight. "Stop! I believe you," I cried, terrified that the branch would break and my gods be awakened by the crash. And then surely they would make a quick meal out of him because even a magical monkey couldn't possibly elude an entire phalanx of ravenous Rakshsis. The monkey resumed its original size. "By the way, my name is Hanuman. I can also leap huge distances. If you didn't know it, you would think I was flying. That is how I got across the ocean, though there were gaggles of monsters everywhere, and it seemed like fresh monkey was everyone's favorite food. They were always jumping up and trying to grab me, but I managed to trick them all. It gave a little hop of glee, then added piously, "By Lord Ram's blessing, of course." When I got to Lanka, though, it was a different story. Did you know the city has its own guardian goddess? She was black like the eclipse and very fierce. She was standing on top of the gold turret of Ravan's palace, flames shooting from her eyes. Well, there is no tricking a real goddess, so I didn't even try. I just fell flat at her feet and told her who I was and that I had come to find you. I was afraid she would burn me to a crisp or maybe just squish me under her heel, but to my surprise, she told me to go ahead. You know, what else she told me? She said that the hourglass of Ravan's life had almost run out and it was time for her to leave Lanka. And then she vanished. So hold on for just a little while longer, mother. I will go back and tell Lord Ram exactly where you are, and he will come and get you out of this place. It sounded wonderful, too wonderful. I had learned the hard way to be suspicious. What if this was a part of Ravan's ploy to keep me foolishly happy and complacent until the time he had promised me ran out? Though my entire heart ached to believe the monkey, I said, if indeed you have been sent by my husband, Hanuman, he would have given you a token to present to me. The monkey slapped its head. Stupid me, I forgot. It spat out something onto its palm, wiped it on its fur, and held it out to me. I picked it up gingerly. Then my heart gave a great leap. It was Ram's ring. The sight of the ring transported me to a happier time. Father Janak had presented it to Ram at our wedding. The priest had placed it on a copper plate and surrounded it with tulsi leaves because for some reason Ram loved the wild smell of tulsi. Pouring holy Ganga water over it, he asked me to place it on my husband's finger. I did so, fingers trembling with shyness as I touched Ram's hand. The ring was inlaid with the Chandrakanta gem, the moon jewel that represented our lineage, and it shone as though in sudden joy. All through my time in Ayodhya, whenever I saw it on Ram's hand, I was reminded of that special moment. In our forest days, when we possessed almost nothing, I grew fond of the gem ring in a different way. On full moon nights, it gleamed with a special luster, filling our simple hut with celestial light. Today, too, the gem shone equally brightly in the light of the full moon, but how different our circumstances were, how far we had been pulled from each other. Though seeing the ring had given me courage, I still knew nothing of Ram's plans for my rescue, and I had to send him word that time was running out. But first, I had to appease my starving heart. Is Ram well? I asked. How does he look? What is he doing? Tell me everything. Hanuman said, by the time I met Lord Ram, he had been on the road for a while, searching for you everywhere. He perked up a little bit when we showed him your jewelry. I guess you had dropped it when Ravan was abducting you in that flying chariot of his. Smart thinking on your part, that was. Still, he was nothing but skin and bone and burnt black by the sun. We offered him the best fruits and honey that we had, but he refused to eat or drink anything. His brother Lakshman was in pretty bad shape too. He blamed himself for losing you. They both did actually. It was my own stupidity, I confessed. First, for wanting that cursed golden deer, and then for sending Lakshman away with the harshest accusations, and then for being duped by Ravan. I am the one who is to blame for. Hanuman cut me off, a surprising sternness in his voice. Don't you be blaming yourself for someone else's wicked trickery, mother, and don't ever let anyone else blame you for it either. Even the gods who have been around for so many ages don't know how to handle Asura magic. How could you? You acted out of kindness, and because you thought a sadhu shouldn't leave your home hungry and unsatisfied. What happened after that was not your fault. I shot him a startled glance. I hadn't told him what had happened. How did he know? And his voice, it was sonorous and different, as though someone else was speaking through him. There was more to this monkey than I had guessed. Hanuman continued calmly, as though there had not been an interruption. When I first saw Ram, even though he was all grimy and depressed, it was like there was a shining around him so bright that I got dizzy, but in a happy kind of way. I broke in excitedly. It was like you forgot yourself. All you knew was that you had been born for this moment, this meeting. I felt the same way when I first met him. Hanuman and I smiled at each other with a new understanding. Then he went on with his story. We hit it off with the brothers right away, Hanuman said, because our monkey tribe too had been banished from our homeland years ago. Our king Sugriv had a falling out with his brother and lost his wife in the process. We understood each other's pain and promised to help each other. Ram got Sugriv his kingdom back. It's a long story. He can tell it to you himself some other time. And Sugriv has put together a huge Vanara army for Ram. They are just waiting to find out where you are before they start marching. But how will they cross the ocean? They can't all fly over it like you did, can they? Hanuman scratched his head. No. Then he brightened. I know what we can do. I will take you back with me. I will make myself big, no problem there. You can sit on my back and hold on tight to my fur, and before you know it, Lord Ram and you will be back together. How about it? The only sad part will be Ravan won't get what he deserves. But when he wakes up in the morning and finds you vanished, oh, I just wish I could be around to see his face. It was the perfect solution. You're so smart, I cried. Hanuman bowed shyly, but I could tell he was pleased. Then realization struck me like a giant hammer. I thank you for your valiant offer, I said, even though my heart fought every word coming out of my mouth. But I can't accept it. Then our action would be no better than Ravan's trickery, and it would deprive Ram of his glory. No, Ram must come here and rescue me himself and put an end to Ravan's wickedness forever. Isn't that what the goddess foretold? Perhaps that is the whole reason why I have had to go through all this suffering so that the earth would be rid of his evil once and for all, and the name of Ram be remembered by everyone in ages to come. Hanuman argued hard, trying to get me to change my mind, but finally he capitulated. I see what you mean, though I still hate to leave you in this hell, he said. I will describe to Lord Ram all the tortures you are putting up with and how brave you have been. Also, that time is running out. Don't worry, mother. I am sure he will rescue you before this last month is over. Now, I have got to go. There is a couple of things I need to do before I get back to Lord Ram. What things? I asked concerned. You are not planning to fight the Rakshasas on your own, are you? Oh, no, no, said Hanuman. He blinked his eyes rapidly and looked so innocent that it made me suspicious. Just planning to eat a few fruits before I return. All that leaping around makes a body hungry, you know. Please don't worry, mother. Just give me your blessings and maybe point me in a good direction. I sketched a rough map of Lanka on the ground. Courtesy of Sarma, I knew quite a bit about the layout of the city, so I could tell him how to get to Ravan's favorite arbor filled with all manner of exotic fruit trees, some of which Sarma said were brought from Indra's celestial gardens after the Asura king's great victory over the gods. I told him to be very, very careful. Indeed, I will, Hanuman promised. But first, you must give me a token to take to Lord Ram. It will do his heart good. He does miss you an awful lot, you know. Many times I have seen him sitting outside after everyone has gone to bed, just staring at the moon with a sad look on his face, and I know he is remembering you. His words were a balm to my heart, but they also wrung my entire being. But time was passing, and every moment brought greater danger to Hanuman. Already a couple of Rakshasas were stirring and snorting as though they smelled something. I thought frantically, what could I give? I had already thrown all my ornaments away. Then I remembered. At our wedding, my mother had given me a little forehead jewel. Her own mother had given this tikka to her at the time of her marriage, and she wore it always for good luck. I too had worn it every day since then, partly because my mother had said it was lucky, but mostly because the jewel bore her touch. Several times, Mother Kaushalya complained that it was too simple and wanted to give me one of her elaborate tikkas, especially when we attended state occasions. But on this matter, I was firm, and Ram supported me. When Ravan was abducting me, I had thrown all my other jewelry into the forest, but I couldn't bear to lose this one, my mother's blessing. Later, I had tied it in a corner of my sari and hidden it from the Rakshasas. It cost me a pang to hand it over to Hanuman. Then I reminded myself where it was going. Whatever I gave to Ram was not lost to me. It would be with me even more fully. I gave Hanuman the tikka and placed my hand on his head in farewell. A shock went through me as I touched the monkey. because it was not a monkey I was touching. Who it was, I couldn't certainly tell, but I sensed that his presence filled the Ashoka grove and the city and even the earth. The light emanating from him was so brilliant that I had to close my eyes. By the time I opened them, Hanuman had disappeared without a sound into the leaves of the Ashoka tree. I tried to sleep, but due to excitement at having received news of my beloved, impatience at having Hanuman deliver my message, and anxiety that something might happen to the monkey before he had a chance to leave Lanka, rest was impossible. Soon I heard distant crashes and shouts, gigantic thuds, as though great buildings were coming down. The noise woke the Rakshasis, who muttered fearfully. I gave up all pretense of sleep and paced around my tree, watching the sky. A white hot comet sped through the air with a fearsome roar. I hoped it was Hanuman escaping, but no, it was a missile. During my years in the forest, I had listened in on the many conversations Ram and Lakshman had about the astras. I recognized this one easily. It was the Brahmastra. There was no defeating it, not unless you had another Brahmastra. Hanuman was surely captured, perhaps even killed by it. Now, Ram would never get my message. He would never know that Ravan held me captive. He would never come to rescue me. I threw myself on the ground and wept. The Rakshasis watched me suspiciously. One said, "You think she knows what is going on?" I didn't answer, but another said, "I saw in my dream that she was whispering to a great Yaksha warrior. Maybe it is him they are battling out there." A third cuffed my face, but carefully so as to not disfigure me, and said, "Where had he come from? And what were you plotting? Tell us." "There was no Yaksha warrior," I said truthfully enough. "There was two," said the other Rakshasis, "and she cuffed me as well." "Are you saying I am lying? I saw his fangs in my dream. They were dripping blood. Maybe you put the thought to attack our city in his head." I didn't care anymore what they did to me. Now that Hanuman had been captured, or worse, I wanted to die. The Rakshasis growled their fury and rushed at me. I closed my eyes and stood still. No more flinching, no more weeping. Let them do their worst. Death only comes once, I told myself. It might as well be now. Just then Trijata came running. "Are you all crazy? Don't you know what King Ravan would do to all of you if you hurt her?" In any case, it was no Yaksha. It was a giant monkey. Who knows how it entered the Lanka city? Monkeys are not allowed anywhere on this island. You know why. I am amazed it got in alive. No intruder has escaped our guardian goddess' razor sharp gaze before this. They have caught it now, bound it, and taken it to show the king, who was none too pleased at being awakened from his sleep. He was going to have it beheaded, but mercifully, as he is, he finally ordered the guards to set its tail on fire and parade it through the city. I held my breath, trying hard not to cry. My poor little Hanuman to be tortured in this manner. I imagined his pain. He would probably die from it. Oh, Lord Agni, I prayed, you who control the heat of the flame, turn your cool and merciful eyes on Ram's messenger. Just then, one of the Rakshasis screamed and pointed. Beyond the walls of the Ashoka grove, the sky had turned an ominous smoky red. The city is burning, someone said in a trembling voice. Everything happened very fast after that. There was a lot of screaming, more explosions, and then the whole horizon lit up. I was terrified that Hanuman was dead, but a Rakshasi, pale with terror, hurried up to say the monkey, who must have had help from the treacherous gods or was perhaps a god in disguise, had set the royal buildings on fire and disappeared. I lay down once again, covering myself with the tatters of my sari, hiding my elation. I held the ring tightly to my chest. Perhaps it had a special power, or perhaps it was the magic of hope, but I saw against my closed eyelids Hanuman flying over the ocean, huge now and glowing, in a great swift arc that rivaled the speed of the sun. I remembered Indra's words when asking Brahma for his boon of invincibility over the different kinds of beings. Ravan had neglected to mention men and monkeys, and now men and monkeys had united against him. Holding on to that happy thought, I fell into a dream where Hanuman landed at the southern tip of the Bharatvarsha where Ram waited. He bowed and handed my husband the jewel I had given and recounted all he had seen. Ram looked at the tikka. I waited for him to ask Hanuman about me. Even one question that showed his sympathy for my difficulties, his appreciation of my faithfulness would have satisfied me. One tear that expressed his tenderness and sorrow. But he said nothing and his eyes were dry. Ram picked up his bow and aimed an arrow at the raging ocean. His face was implacable and emotionless, a stranger's face carved from granite. Behind him stretched an army of monkeys so great in number that I couldn't see beyond them to the horizon. A voice devoid of emotion echoed across the waves. Was it my husband who spoke, or was it a god? Mahakal awakes. Let the deaths begin. A new formation of Rakshasi gods marched up. They must have received instructions to make my life additionally miserable because right away they began to shout abuses, slapping and poking me until I was bruised all over. Then they arranged their pallets around my Ashoka tree and went to sleep, snoring vigorously because we all knew there was no place I could escape to. PALLET pallet means a crude makeshift bed. He changed into an orange robed sannyasi so suddenly that I flinched away. Sorry, said the monkey, contrite. CONTRATE, contrite means feeling or expressing remorse at the recognition that one has done wrong. Anger flitted over the monkey's face, and I was startled to see how fierce it could look for something so small. FLIT flit means move swiftly and lightly. And then surely they would make a quick meal out of him because even a magical monkey couldn't possibly elude the entire phalanx of ravenous Rakshasis. PHALANX phalanx means a body of troops standing or moving in close formation. If you didn't know it, you would think I was flying. That is how I got across the ocean, though there were gaggles of monsters everywhere. GAGGLE gaggle means a disorderly group. In our forest days, when we possessed almost nothing, I grew fond of the ring in a different way. On full moon nights, it gleamed with a special luster, filling our simple hut with celestial light. LUSTRG luster means a gentle sheen or soft glow. What if this was a part of Ravan's ploy to keep me foolishly happy and complacent until the time he had promised me ran out? COMPLACENT complacent means self satisfied. By the time I met Lord Ram, he had been on the road for a while, searching for you everywhere. He perked up a little when we showed him your jewelry. PERKUP, perk up means to become or make someone more lively, cheerful, or energetic. We hit it off with the brothers right way, Hanuman said. Hit it off means to like someone and become friendly immediately. I thank you for your valiant offer, I said. VALIANT, valiant means courageous, brave, fearless. Hanuman argued hard, trying to get me to change my mind, but finally he capitulated. CAPITULATA, capitulate means give in, surrender. Perhaps it had a special power, or perhaps it was the magic of hope, but I saw against my closed eyelids Hanuman flying over the ocean, huge now and glowing in a great swift arc that rivaled the speed of the sun. RIVALED, rivaled means compete, to be a match for. Ram picked up his bow and aimed an arrow at the raging ocean. His face was implacable and emotionless, a stranger's face carved from granite. IMPLACABLE, implacable means can't be appeased, unpacified, unforgiving. Thanks for listening.